What it is, Goyim. We have Goyim in abundance for this show. Hey, everybody. How's it going? Happy Monday. You made it through the weekend. We have more Epstein files. So we're going to cover those today, mostly exclusively the Epstein files, that we can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about in the chat too. The one viral tweet, big show today. Big show. One viral tweet suggests regarding a 4chan post that Jeffrey Epstein escaped before he was killed, which means they killed somebody else. Maybe. That's my theory, at least. So we'll show you that conspiracy theory and see if there's any legs to it. Then we also have news in the cryptocurrency world, which is that Epstein was heavily involved with the early Bitcoin developers. So actually, a lot of people in Bitcoin are calling it pedo coin right now. They're a little bit frustrated that Jeffrey Epstein was so heavily involved so early on with Bitcoin, and they're thinking that they funded a sex trafficking ring with their purchases of Bitcoin. And we are wearing a shirt today you can buy on our website. It says Bitcoin saves, but we're not sure about that anymore. We're not sure. Hopefully it'll be okay. But people are dumping it now for other reasons because of its connection to sex trafficking. They're calling it pedo coin. So I have that news for you guys today too. We have lots of different files talking about Jewish stuff. So lots of people talking about Jewish stuff in Jeffrey Epstein's emails. Back in the day, probably reporting on the Jeffrey Epstein so-called conspiracy theory, you could sometimes be labeled an anti-Semite for talking about it. But actually, it seems more like Jeffrey Epstein was anti-Goy. He's anti-Goyim, which is anybody other than a Jew. So, and there's just lots and lots of Jew talk in the emails. So I have the various ones. We covered some of those on yesterday's show. So got to cover those emails. There's also talk about making genetically engineered babies and maybe abusing them sexually, possibly, in order to give them superpowers and develop the human race, which I think Jeffrey Epstein was looking to do at his Zorro Ranch. He was going to have a lot of women there to basically be baby incubators to carry on his super Jewish sperm, which apparently he had a recessive gene which caused hyper effing. So I'll show you that too. So we're still covering we still are on top of other news, watching gold and silver are doing fine. They're actually going up right now. We're covering the end of the universe, probably a stock market crash coming up soon. So we can talk about that and talk about whatever you guys are interested in the chat. And that's it. That's what we're going to talk about on the show today. So get ready for it. Strap in. We will play our intro and we'll get started. Thanks for joining me for the show. Okay, cue musical intro. Boy, that's brilliant. I do think some things in the world are real. Like you guys. You guys are real. Most of you. Most of my listeners, I think, are not just in my head. I think I have the metrics to prove it. You've taken a leap of faith today. What is that sound? And I apologize if you take offense. I'm a little offended myself. Welcome to our show. Welcome to the future. What it is. Joining you live from sunny California. It's a beautiful day today. I'm your host, Nathan Stoltman. And I bring you the news, the real news.
But one of the great calls I made is a year ago when Bitfuck was at $19,600. I said, it's over. 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 It's over Smart money, sell half, keep half. My mentees lost billions because nobody listened to me. We got some bit fucks in there, I can tell. Too bad. Shows you the stupidity. Shows you the stupidity. And I know who's behind Bitcoin. And it ain't some fucking Japanese guy in a cave. I know the guy. And when that comes out, you heard it here first. Bitcoin is going to zero.
Zero.
Zero. When it comes out, zero.
That's what he
But
said.
one of the great calls.
Then Bitcoin popped up to 126,000, but now it's down from there. So now the word is out who's behind Bitcoin. It was Jeffrey Epstein. Some people are saying, although it's in the files, actually. I'll show you the evidence of that. Bitcoin is currently trading at about $78,000, something like that. The future of money. Bitcoin is at $78,800 right now. It hasn't gone to zero yet, but some people, like I said, in the crypto community are upset that Epstein was so heavily involved. So I'll show you that from the documents. Cygirl said, glad you finally came around to figure out that most of the time the deaths are faked. I didn't come around. I have been a death faker believer for some time. Like, for example, Bill Hicks and maybe Nicole Brown, who assumed new identities. But we can get into that on a different show. Thanks for tuning in. You can, Sean says you bought more MicroStrategy. Well, I'm betting against you. I shorted MicroStrategy today and Oracle. I'm positioned now for a complete market crash by April. So we'll see. I have all my shorts in. MicroStrategy, I definitely shorted. Michael Saylor is running a Ponzi scheme. That's one of the reasons I had to sell my Bitcoin. Monero did get hammered. You bought some? Yeah, Monero is getting hammered, but I'm holding on to mine. So yeah, they bought more Bitcoin. They bought it at $87,000. They bought more Bitcoin. They bought more Bitcoin at $87,000, and now it's $78,000. How did they even manage to buy it for so much more than it is? Every time he announces a buy, the price is down. How's that going to work? And then meanwhile, he's diluting his shareholders. It's not good. I'm short. Hopefully I'll make a lot of money when it goes to zero. We'll see. But I won't feel good for people who lost money. And you can still buy your Bitcoin t-shirts for you, sir. Go, if you want to support the show, go to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. I don't have super chats. I got to figure out what's going on with YouTube. I reapplied for monetization and they haven't answered me. It's been months. Buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. Go there, drop synthetic coffees, and you can leave a note, and I will read it before the end of the show. It's the same as a super chat, except better because they don't take 30% and they pay quickly. They take a very small percentage, and it's a very nice platform. And you can leave a note just like you were leaving a super chat, and I read them all that come in at the end of every show. You can also buy t-shirts like the one I'm wearing by going to truthclothing.io. That's Truth Revolution Clothing at truthclothing.io. Here are our shirts. You get your Question Everything shirts. We are questioning the death of Epstein today. Get your Bitcoin and crypto shirts. We are going into a crypto future. Bitcoin saves, HODL, $5, $10 shirts, really nice, high quality, screen printed, last forever. Get your Freedom of Face Made in America shirts, Question Everything in many, many female styles, still available, $5 and $10 shirts. The closeout liquidation sale will be sold until they're all sold out. We're selling out quickly. Go to truthclothing.io, buy several for yourself. You can't get clothes cheaper than that before we reach hyperinflation. They should actually go up in value, considering the dollar is probably going to zero. So let's see. Here's from Jeffrey Epstein regarding the Bitcoin. Jeffrey Epstein to somebody else said, very exciting. I've spoken to some of the founders of Bitcoin who are very excited. So who knows how much money he may have made on Bitcoin. But like I said, some people in the community are upset as if they needed more reasons to sell Bitcoin. Jeffrey Epstein's involvement and possibly financing a trafficking ring, which was also a Mossad honeypot, also bad. Here's another email, or here's another document talking about Bitcoin. It says that 75% of the Bitcoin core development and code was committed after Jeffrey Epstein took over the de facto senior management role as benefactor. He may not have been Satoshi, but he was absolutely running the executive direction of Bitcoin on behalf of Mossad. People think there are back doors into Bitcoin because of this. I don't think so. Here it says down here, used gift funds to underwrite this, which allowed us to move quickly and win this round regarding digital currency initiative. This is way back in 2015. He says, many organizations scrambled to step into the vacuum created by the foundation and take control of the developers. We moved quickly, talking to all of the various stakeholders, and the 3 developers decided to join the media lab. This is a big win for us. That's what he said. Now, me personally, I don't think Bitcoin is bad. I think people can investigate the code and have. I think Bitcoin is actually fine. I don't think there's a back door. But some people are saying that now. Some people are now saying it was a creation of Mossad. People used to say it was a creation of the CIA. So that's just news. Like I said, Bitcoin is trading right now at about 78,000. It's up from its low last night when it crashed more. Regarding the fake death of Jeffrey Epstein, should I run a poll? He either was killed, according to most people say he didn't kill himself. He was either killed or he's still alive. It's a split decision on whether he was killed or was still alive. G Vacation is in the chat. That's the email address for Jeffrey Epstein, who says he is still alive. Says, I will sacrifice 1 baby for every Bitcoin purchase between now and March. That'd be a lot of Bitcoins. Thanks, G Vacation. He's on vacation in my thumbnail for this post. He's still on vacation on that island where all the crisis actors go after they've been used up. So anyway, back in the day, this is a viral post on Twitter, what used to be called Twitter, has 12 million views. This person claims that this post from 4chan has been linked to an identity of one of the prison guards. So this is old news made new again through a viral Twitter post, which posts screenshots which are apparently evidence of the claim, but don't really back up the claim. But this person says the claim is backed up, that this identity of this anonymous 4chan post, which was made the same day Jeffrey Epstein was found hanged in his cell, allegedly, said, not saying anything after this, please do not try to dox me. But last night after 4:15 a.m. count, they took him medical in a wheelchair, front cuffed, but not one triage nurse says they spoke to him. Next thing we know, a trip van shows up. We do not do releases on the weekends unless a judge orders it. Next thing we know, he's put in a single man cell and hangs himself. Here's the thing. The trip van did not sign in, and we did not record the plate number, and a guy in a green dress military outfit was in the back of the van, according to the tower guy who let him through the gate. You guys, I am shaking now, but I think they switched him out. That was a post on 4chan. I knew about it. This person, Heather C., let's look at her profile. She is a Christian patriot, OG Anon, and great granddaughter of Revolutionary War soldier who crossed the Delaware with George Washington. Okay. That's her. Heather C. with 8,850 followers posted this viral tweet, 12 million views, 116,000 likes. The documents attached don't, to me, prove that it's attached to this person's identity. But that's a claim this person is making with some of these documents that link to a metropolitan officer named Grijalva. But once again, I asked my assistant AI agent bot what it thought of this. It doesn't like conspiracy theories because it's powered by ChatGPT. It said it is an approving claim, and I shouldn't make the claim that Jeffrey Epstein is still alive. But it makes for a viral thumbnail when people say that, when people think that it's possible. But it's not clear that this person proves it. They said, somebody asked, where does this show that Roberto Grijalva was identified? And it says the FBI and SDNY began investigating the 4chan post the day after Epstein's death. They subpoenaed records from 4chan, Apple, AT&T, and Citibank beginning 8/11/2019 to obtain records related to the 4chan post. In December, a grand jury subfile was opened and references the anonymous 4chan post on the third page of the FBI document. In this same FBI document, Citibank provides a number of financial documents in response to the subpoena, which reveals Roberto Grijalva's name. This ties to the same Roberto Grijalva who provided a witness statement for MCC on 8/12/2019. So lots of details, but take it for what you will. I don't know if it's proof. But for me, remember the ears and nose of the dead Jeffrey Epstein that was wheeled out on a stretcher. And these are the pictures of Jeffrey Epstein's nose and ear and hair next to a picture of who was on the stretcher when they wheeled in Jeffrey Epstein dead, supposedly. So the theory I would develop from this, since the ear is different and that's impossible, the nose is different, that would be impossible, and the other details are slightly different too. They switched out Jeffrey Epstein for a lookalike of some sort who couldn't possibly look exactly the same and then killed the lookalike, possibly. So that's the theory for it. And then Jeffrey Epstein is actually alive somewhere. I tended to believe that. Well, especially since it's impossible for an ear to be different. That ear is much different. So I don't know what you guys think, but that's my thoughts on it. So that's the Jeffrey Epstein non-death rumors from the viral post on X. Now it's called X. So here's another email to Peter Thiel, where Jeffrey Epstein said, as you probably know, I represent the Rothschilds. Don't know if he was just saying that or if he really was, but he claimed to have represented the Rothschilds. And he's talking about investing in Peter Thiel. And he also told Ehud Barak about Peter Thiel and Palantir early on. I have that audio.
He thought there was two cyber companies. Look out, and even though I know Peter, I've never met Peter Thiel, and everybody says he sort of jumps around and acts sort of strange, like he's on drugs.
Smoking, yeah. He looks under drugs.
However, he has a company called Palantir, Pallen. Tier. Palantir is Peter Thiel's company, and look out.
Palantir, Palantir?
Yes.
How you write Thiel? Thiel?
Thiel.
Yeah. LLY.
No, Thiell.
Okay.
So he thought that Peter would put you on the board of Palantir. Peter Thiel is one of the best. I've never met him. He's going to come here next week.
Huh.
So I wanted to talk to him after I talked to you.
Okay.
He and Andreessen, it's called Andreessen Horowitz. Andreessen Horowitz, that's what they pay Larry $1 million a year just to advise them.
Andreas and
Andreessen, Andreessen, and Horowitz.
and Howard.
Horo.
So that's him talking to Ehud Barak about investment ideas, talking about Peter Thiel early on. And Peter Thiel, of course, is the main benefactor of our current vice president, J.D. Vance. They're all connected, aren't they? Palantir. Palantir just reported earnings today. I'll have to check the stock. So that's interesting news. Him talking to Ehud Barak about Palantir and Peter Thiel for investment advice. Also in the documents, it seems to possibly be reported a lot of talk between Steve Bannon and Jeffrey Epstein. One of these exchanges seemed to indicate that Donald Trump may have been having sexual relations with this person who was his assistant, Madeleine Westerhout. This post claims that they were sexually involved based on the fact that Jeffrey Epstein called her knee pads. Knee pads, and says doing God's work. So he said that this person was messing around with Donald Trump. And then she ended up quitting. She resigned after revealing to a reporter that Trump liked her better than his daughters and didn't like to be photographed with Tiffany Trump because she looked overweight. She is pretty good looking. So apparently people are claiming that that's evidence that Donald Trump was having an affair with his assistant, Madeleine Westerhout, knee pads. All right. So that's revealed in the Epstein files. Here is something else revealed in the files, which is that he was thinking about making designer babies. Let's look. Here from Jeffrey Epstein or from Brian Bishop, attached is the docu requested. It's the use of funds spreadsheet for the designer baby and human cloning company. This gets us out of our self-funded garage biology phase to the first live birth of a human designer baby and possibly a human clone within 5 years. Mentions how much money it would take to invest in that, which isn't very much, a few $1 million. This person, Gina Yu, was emailing Jeffrey Epstein about people that are called stage 3. And this gets into what is consistent with satanic ritual abuse to make superhuman type people with special talents. This person says the caravan trip has been really wonderful in meeting people that are stage 3. These are people who are developing a different perspective of reality and discovering the gifts that they have. Also, in rallying others who have a strong interest in this area. Among the new projects emerging include a base to use science-based approach and Eastern practices to help sort these stage 3 people out. They said, She said, am in Paris, was about to write you and it popped up. She is a classic stage 3 in the model. Outlier who is intelligent, was traumatized when she was young, sexual abuse, and now gradually coming into her own and becoming self-realized, starting to develop special abilities. So in satanic ritual abuse, bloodlines matter just like they matter for Jewish people. And they do, they abuse and traumatize the children when they are young in order to make them disassociate, which allows them to access special powers like psychic abilities. And they say a lot of our pop stars went through some kind of ritual abuse when they were young. So this person so he had an interest in advancing the human species and then probably inseminating a lot of women and having his own babies take over the world. And then have designer babies and stage 3 individuals who develop somehow through trauma. So that's in the documents. One note of news today, attorneys for the victims are asking for the files to be taken down immediately, citing an unfolding emergency, quote unquote, unfolding emergency. I don't know anything about it or what it could relate to, or if maybe some of the victims are now in danger because of the files being released. But it says that the attorneys, this is from ABC News, so we think it's real. The attorneys are asking for the files to actually be taken down after complaining that the files weren't enough. So that's an interesting development. Here's Jeffrey Epstein talking about gravity. He was interested in scientific advancements. Play that.
Why did the ball go down? I didn't push it. I just let it go. So someone's pushing the ball, because I know that I am confident that the only thing that gets something to move is with a force that pushes. So there's a force that's pushing the ball down. In fact, he called it gravity. He measured how fast it was pulled, but never was able to explain why it happened. How is it? What is gravity? It's this. Everybody says, well, why did the ball fall to the ground? Because gravity took it. But what's gravity? That's, as Feynman would say, that's the name of the thing. We have no idea what it is. Why did the ball go?
Obsessed with gravity. Gravity is a very interesting thing, actually. Flat earthers think about it a lot. Gravity is a theory which has kind of been proven if we really landed on the moon. And kind of follows what Einstein said, but they haven't found, as far as I know, the thing that makes gravity gravity. So Epstein was very interested in that. He was interested in fractional reserve banking and gravity. So let's get into the Jewish stuff. He asked why this is an email from him to himself. He says, at my dinner table, I asked, why are you right-wing guys so anti-Semitic? One said, historically, we all know it's actually been the Jews behind the governments actually pulling the strings. I said, like who? And one pointed at me, and they all started to roar with laughter. Me? And one guy said, how do you explain in only 3 days there have been princes, prime and other ministers, emissaries, plus 2 presidents of world bodies guilty? So funny. Wish you were here. That's an email he sent to himself. And we have G Vacation in the chat today, proving that Jeffrey Epstein is still alive. Why are people so anti-Semitic? More talk about him being Jewish. He says, yes, I'm Jewish. 650 relatives, all Jewish. Ironic he's so smart because the emails have all kinds of errors in them. relatives, Jewish, bad typing, I guess. 10 different spellings of Epstein. I have 2 recessive genes that cause hyper effing, he says. Apparently, he blames his hyper effing on 2 recessive genes. I don't know if that's a Jewish thing or not. Ghislaine Maxwell claimed he had to ejaculate 3 times a day. A note between him and the owner and the Jewish owner of the 76ers said, any conversation you prefer to stay between just us. It's my financial confessional booth for Jews. He made a Jewish joke about prostitutes. Michael Wolff, who is writing the book about Trump, said because Steve Bannon was removed from the National Security Council, war between the Jews and the non-Jews, Jews presently winning. And then there's conversation in the documents about the nature of a Jewish soul. And as a reminder, Kushner and Ivanka are Chabad Lubavitch, and that's where they talk about things that are in the Talmud, which claim that Jews have a different soul, which this person, Mark Fisher, another Jew, was explaining to Jeffrey Epstein. A Jewish soul has a very different structure, different ingredients, components, relates to its higher levels differently, has different higher levels, relates to itself and other people in a different manner than a non-Jewish soul. And here is a Jewish person explaining that.
The Rebbe did not say exactly what's the soul of a non-Jew. He didn't talk about it. He just said a non-Jew does not have a godly soul like the Jew. That's all he said. The Rebbe did not.
There you go. That's the Rebbe. The Rebbe is the head of Chabad Lubavitch. Here's another guy who used to be Chabad Lubavitch talking about it.
It's exactly what I'm talking about. That's the lack of tolerance. That's the lack of diversity. That's the non-Jews are not as good as us, that they have souls that come from a place that's not pure, that they're rooted in a lower creation almost. I mean, you know, if you were going to look at the old evolution, except that you wouldn't view it as evolution because they don't believe in evolution. But if you were ranking, you know, human beings and a creation, right? So you would have Jews, this is them. Jews are on top, right? Then you've got non-Jews, then you have the great apes, then you have, right? And it goes down like this to rocks, right? So that's basically what it is. I mean, you can think of it another way is what I was saying is that famous drawing of, you know, the thing crawling out of the water, morphing into whatever, morphing into the ape, morphing into the prehistoric man, morphing into the human being, right? So it's the same thing, except there's an extra layer added in, and that's non-Jews, right before the Jews, right?
But you were part of Chabad. At one point in time, you believed this stuff?
Believed it? Well, yes and no. You can believe these things and not believe them at the same time.
So that guy is reformed. He used to be Chabad Lubavitch. He's explaining what Chabad Lubavitch says. I see people making fun of the way he looks, saying that's the kind of person that thinks their soul is better than other person. But he's actually saying he doesn't believe it. But that's what they teach. That's what Chabad Lubavitch teaches. And I was called an anti-Semite for talking about that a long time ago. And I think the video got banned from YouTube. I probably got a strike for it. But that's like, it's true. That's what they say. And obviously Epstein and his Jewish friends, they talked about it quite a bit between themselves. Lots of Jewish jokes and stuff. In the documents, Ghislaine Maxwell claimed that her dad, who was found naked after falling off of his yacht called the Ghislaine in the water, drowned. She claimed that he tried to blackmail Mossad, and that's why he was killed. He asked for 400 million pounds, or he would expose Mossad, according to these documents. Maxwell passed on all the secrets he learned to Mossad in Tel Aviv. In turn, they tolerated his excesses, vanities, and insatiable appetite for a luxurious lifestyle on women. He told his controllers who they should target and how they should do it. He appointed himself as Israel's official ambassador to the Soviet bloc, and a bunch of people, important people, showed up at his funeral. But she claims he tried to blackmail them, and then they killed him. Nicki Minaj is saying crazy shit on Twitter. Unrelated, but related at the same time. She is claiming that artists are killing babies on Twitter. And actually, she's Donald Trump's. Donald Trump likes showing her off. He likes having somebody famous who likes him. Nicki Minaj said, "Your favorite artist has been practicing rituals in a satanic cult where they take babies from other countries and mutilate and kill them as a form of a blood sacrifice to their god. You see, when your master is Satan, you must constantly shed blood. However, the jig is up." And it shows a picture of Chucky with a martini. So we don't know if more is to come from that. But reminds me of the Isaac Cappy days. That's the news I have for you on Epstein today. We'll leave it related to Epstein. We could talk more about Oracle and stuff like that, and NVIDIA and the stock market. We might save that for tomorrow. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Good to see you guys. Let's check our super chats. We haven't gotten any in a few days. So if you want to support the show and support the coffee that powers the show, please go to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. We did not get any coffees today. It's been a few days now. So if you like the show, if you like that it's on every day, even Saturday and Sunday this week, please consider giving a tip at buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. You can do it anytime and leave a note, and I read those before the end of the show. Thanks, Phil. You gave a coffee. Thank you. I will. Thank you. Did you just give it? I can check. It doesn't say I have any new ones. I'll log in and double check. Sometimes that helps. I'll just double check in case I'm missing your message. Continue with email. Let's refresh this page and try again. It's not working. So I don't know. I don't see it on there right now, but if you gave it to me, thank you very much. I appreciate you. I will enjoy the coffee. Thank you very much. Oh, a couple months ago. I've already enjoyed that coffee. Thank you. Thanks, Phil. Thanks. I gave him $1. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Short one today. We just focused on the Epstein files. Bring you more news tomorrow. Might be different news. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Good to see you, and we'll see you at the next one. For now, that's what it is.